to respond forcefully to any type of attacks against the coalition, and the military means to support the
state is deal, and the deal was not only for 4 years, it's forever. So they are legally committed to that agreement. And also they said we are committed to that agreement, but still they did not fulfill what they had made the commitment about troops withdrawal. Now the decision is pending our leadership, what they decide in future that would be implemented. We are awaiting their decision.
Osama bin Javid has been following the negotiations in Doha.
There's little progress on the ground. You've seen the attacks spiking. You've seen the scathing criticism coming from the Afghan government. And if statements are anything to go by, you heard the Taliban spokesman there talk about investigating the Logar attack, in which civilians were killed. And you heard from the Afghan president saying that the Taliban were responsible. So it is going to be a continuation of competing narratives in a very divided space in Afghanistan as U.S. forces prepare to leave. Their formal withdrawal has begun from May the 1st, and according to the U.S. president, will be completed by September the 11th. And this remains to be the sticking point. The Taliban saying that because they signed an agreement and committed that they will withdraw by May the 1st, and the other side saying that the Taliban has not really shown enough progress in severing ties, bringing down the level of violence, and negotiating in good faith with the Afghan government. And there's a lot of frustration doing the rounds, not just on part of the Afghan government, but other officials as well, who've been trying to tone down the Taliban's rhetoric in saying that you are a party to the conflict and Afghanistan is not going to look like what it did 20 years ago.
In a rural district in Zimbabwe, a new electric-powered motorcycle is changing how women do business by helping poor women get income and easing the burden of caring for families. Harumatasa has this report from Hwedza.
Charlotte Kandinga's chickens are ready for the market, and this three-wheeler, known as Hamba, which means to go in Zimbabwe, is going to help her take them there. The farmer pays an equivalent of $15 a month with a group of friends to lease the electric-powered motorcycles. She can now sell her goods much further away from a small village.
Before I got this bike, I couldn't come this far. Now I sell my chickens and vegetables at a business center that's 20 kilometers away. I can get more customers here and more money, even carry more goods.
The bikes are being tested by a local startup that's leasing the motorcycles to women in the community.
Our aim was to bring green mobility solutions to women in rural communities because we noticed that women are underrated and they spend most of their time doing the household chores instead of making money and improving their incomes. So we thought that if for the pilot would test with the women to see if they are going to improve their livelihoods and if our product is durable to be used by many other small-scale farmers.
The solar-charged lithium-ion batteries the bikes used are charged in here. This is a solar charging station. 18 batteries can be charged in here at the same time. On a good day when there's lots of sunlight, it can take about 7 or 8 hours to charge a battery. So in the community, whenever someone has a flat battery, they just come in here and swap it for a fully charged one. The bikes, made in China and assembled in the capital Harare, are proving useful in communities with no reliable public transport or tarred roads. Passengers call or send a WhatsApp message to schedule pickup times. The drivers say they can make up to $8 a day transporting people, money that helps make them more financially independent in Zimbabwe, a country where jobs are scarce. Harumatasa, Al Jazeera, Hwedza, Zimbabwe.
This is Al Jazeera, and these are the headlines. India has recorded the highest number of daily deaths from COVID-19. The Health Ministry says nearly 3,700 people died in the past day, but crematoriums say the actual number is much higher. Elizabeth Puranam has the latest from New Delhi.
We are in a situation now where people are still dying because there aren't enough hospital beds and there isn't enough oxygen. Many people die at home because they can't find beds. Those deaths are not medically certified. And so the number of people being cremated, the number of COVID-19 bodies being cremated and buried, crematoriums say, are much greater than the official numbers being reported every day.
A contentious new Australian law which threatens jail time for people returning from India is facing growing backlash. Anyone who's been in India within 14 days of their planned date of return will be banned from entering Australia. The law goes into effect on Monday. It's the first time Australia has made it a potential criminal offence for its own citizens to come home. Pakistan is expected to receive 1 million vaccine doses from China on Sunday. It's purchased a total of 17 million doses from 3 Chinese companies. They'll supplement the AstraZeneca vaccine being delivered through the COVAX programme. Pakistan has inoculated just over 2 million people. Hundreds of anti-junta protesters are marching through Myanmar's Yangon city. They're marking what they call the global Myanmar Spring Revolution, along with expatriates from around the world. The military has not been able to stop demonstrations despite the use of force. Just a few hours ago, 4 astronauts splashed down to Earth from the International Space Station. They were helped out of the SpaceX Dragon capsule on board a ship off the US state of Florida. It's the first time a crew has been brought home by SpaceX, a private company that partners with NASA, and they hope to one day send crews far beyond the ISS. And those are the headlines. Stay with us on Al Jazeera. Inside Story is next.
Tension is increasing in Chad after the death of its president. Anger against the anti-military council is growing, and there are more protests and threats from armed rebel groups. So is stability at risk in this north-central African state? This is Inside Story. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Hashim Ahalbarra. Tensions have been high in Chad since the sudden death of President Idriss Déby nearly 2 weeks ago. He ruled the impoverished desert country for 3 decades, but was killed while visiting troops fighting rebels. Déby's son was immediately announced as his successor and a military council set up. That move rejected